We'll call the meeting to order, reconvening for the Rialto Unified School District at 7:24. Let's stand for the pledge, and I'll ask County School Board member, Mr. Hardy Brown Jr., to lead us in the pledge.
All of your heart. Ready to begin?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Before we get started, I'd like to mention that our student board member, Micah St. Andrew, is on spring break, so he's taking the day off. And so we wish him continue to enjoy the spring break. Now we will report out of closed session. Mr. Islam.
No action was taken.
No action was taken. Adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez and Mrs. O'Kelly. Vote by board members. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. We have no presentations tonight. We'll move on to public comments. Comments from the floor. At this time, if there's anyone who wish to make a comment on something that is not on the agenda, you will be given 3 minutes to make a presentation. Do we have any, Mr.
Yes.
Islam?
Yes,
All
Madam
right.
President.
Please remember you have 3 minutes to make your presentation.
Chris Meza.
Good evening. My name is Christopher Mesa, and I'm here on behalf of a group of concerned community members, and I'm here to deliver a message of accountability, a message directed at those district leaders who have failed our students, parents, educators, and employees. That message is encompassed in the following statement. Notice of intention to circulate recall petition. The grounds for the proposed recall are as follows. We, the undersigned, do hereby affirm that Joseph W. Martinez has improperly performed the duties as board member of the Board of Education for the Rialto Unified School District. Mr. Martinez has, under the direction of the superintendent, approved numerous and unnecessary contracts, some of which were for duplicate services, leading to the depletion of nearly $30 million of Rialto Unified School District's reserves funds. Mr. Martinez has failed in his responsibilities to oversee the actions of the superintendent and superintendent's office, leading to gross misappropriation of funds as unveiled in a January 2014 meeting of the Board of Education. Mr. Martinez has failed in his responsibilities to support the educational programs for the Rialto Unified School District, resulting in student development flatlining for 5 years as unveiled in a report at a May 2013 meeting of the Board of Education, and the decline of the special education program, including over $1 million of unnecessary expenses, as unveiled in a report at a January 2014 meeting of the Board of Education. A recall election is therefore requested by the undersigned, each of whom is a registered voter of the Rialto Unified School District at the time of signing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joseph Martinez.
Mr. Islam?
The next is Mr. and Mrs. John and Tina Brown.
Good evening, Board of Education, Interim Superintendent Islam, Associate Superintendents, and viewing audience. We are John and Tina Brown. We are parents here in the district, and we're here to share with you a very unpleasant experience that we have been enduring with one of our district vendors for almost a year. The vendor is Steve Farrell of Farrell and Associates, who operates under the DBA of Herff Jones. After being told the cost of gold had gone up 400%, we paid a deposit of $380 for a replacement high school class ring for one of our daughters who graduated from Eisenhower High School. It took Steve Farrell 361 days to settle our order. It wasn't until we requested assistance from the Office of the Superintendent that we were able to resolve our order and receive a complete refund because we never got the ring in a timely manner. It has been no less than a nightmare for us. That said, we would like to request that the Board of Education open an investigation into the practices of Steve Farrell of Farrell and Associates. We request that the Board of Education make contact with our 4 high schools in our district, including ASB clerks and administrators, who will be valuable to the board with their wealth of knowledge and experiences with this vendor. It is our understanding that the past leadership dictated that Steve Farrell and Associates under the DBA of Herff Jones were the only authorized dealer for senior recognition products such as class rings, cap and gowns, invitations, thank you cards, etc. It is our hope that your investigation is thorough and conclusive. Finally, we request that we, the Rialto Unified School District, distance ourselves from Steve Farrell and Associates under the DBA of Herff Jones, moving forward in the 2014-15 school year. The parents and students of Rialto deserve better. We left our name and contact information should you need to contact us. Thank you to the Office of the Superintendent for stepping in and helping us, and thank you, Board of Education, for your time and consideration in this matter.
Thank you. So, Mr. Islam, you have that information?
Yes, I do, and I'm going to bring a report to you, board, and we are in process of taking further actions. And in fact, the matter brought to my attention, I promptly act on it. I appreciate I could assist you to get the refund, and it was concerns to me when the matter came to my knowledge. I felt like the parents being disturbed by this vendor, and I'm currently doing internal investigations, and I'll bring a report to you. And furthermore, my recommendation to you as a board to discontinue business with this vendor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your information. Okay. Are there any others?
Yes. Russell Silva.
Good evening, board members, administration, and viewing audience. My name is Russell Silva, and I'm a Rialto resident. Trying to turn the corner on a rough road is sometimes difficult, but we all must grab the wheel, that steering wheel, in order to proceed forward. With the appointment of Mr. Muhammad Islam as interim superintendent, this board has provided the district with that opportunity. A new direction has been given, not just to the administration, but to the classified, the teachers, and more importantly, to the students. A direction that I know will propel this district into new heights. As Ms. Gilbert once said in the March 7th meeting, Mr. Islam has a true desire to keep this district running, and I believe that he will do that job. Mr. Martinez, on the March 14th meeting, after the board appointed Mr. Islam, you said, we meaning the district, that we don't have an educational leader. Well, Mr. Islam may not have the required credentials that you would like him to have, but he is a team leader. Unlike the previous superintendent whom he supported, Mr. Sebrin spent more time reminding people that he was a superintendent rather than supporting the staff and understanding and fulfilling the needs of the students. There was no I in team, and Mr. Islam operates in that fashion, which is evident in his priorities of students first, parents second, staff third. Again, Mr. Martinez, in the March 14th meeting, you said no one man can do the job required to pull us up, and I totally agree with that. But the previous superintendent was the one man, the man that you endorsed, was the one man that pushed this district down, which is evident in the lack of educational progress over the past 6+ years. Mr. Seaman was more interested in touchdown passes and three-point shots rather than scoring high on tests and getting student academic achievements. If you were looking for this kind of sports-minded leader, why didn't you just suggest appointing Steve Butkus or Phil Jackson as the interim superintendent? Although Mr. Islam may lack the credentials, Mr. Seaman, the man who you wholeheartedly supported, has those credentials, but was a poor leader and a poor motivator. His way of leadership is more as a dictator rather than a team supporter. Mr. Islam has proven his worth because as acting superintendent, he had the foresight to get involved and to make changes that not only assisted student development, but has saved the district money. Moreover, $500,000 in the step-up program that we just heard about in the last meeting. My next concern is for this board in general. Please work together with a qualified selection committee that understands what this district needs. And if it's not Mr. Islam, then find somebody that will motivate the staff, from the classified to the teachers, to the administration, and also to the parents. Because we all need to work hard together to accomplish the needs that the students have and drive this district to become what Ms. Gilbert has said, the best school district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next person who wants to speak on item on the agenda,
Go
Ms.
ahead.
Gilbert.
Mr. Islam.
Lil Miramontes.
For clarification, this is for something that is on the agenda?
Yes.
All right.
Dear board members, superintendent, cabinet, staff, and community. My name is Lil Miramontes. I'm the account clerk at Child Development. My position is in the list to be eliminated. I collect family fees. We have approximately 250 families that pay for preschool. From August through March, we have collected $87,162.37. Payment is due by the 1st of every month. If not received by the 7th, I generate a notice of action, which is a state mandated form that informs the parent that services will discontinue if payment is not received by a specified date. These have to be generated, printed, sorted by school, and then sent out. I also prepare the first 5 report that must be submitted by the 15th of every month. Every cent spent out of the first 5 funding has to be accounted for. The report is very specific. We have to report salaries by positions and school sites. All other expenses such as supplies, student meals, etc., must also be reported on corresponding line items. Accuracy is of the most importance. The report takes several days to prepare as we have to have backup for every expense. If there is a discrepancy, I work with our fiscal department to correct this before submitting the report. These 2 major duties are time sensitive as they are deadlines for both. But I also have to order custodial and classroom supplies for teachers and for the runnings of our office. Of course, there are many other duties, but with these 2 alone, an account clerk is definitely needed. Who will collect the family fees? Keep records of the students that have to pay, get recertified, or drop. Who will give the parents the tax information they need to report the fees on their income tax? Our department just hired a Secretary 3 after the school year began, so that secretarial duties could be handled by a secretary and alleviate the work from the rest of us. If the budget was such an issue, how was a Secretary 3 added to the staff? There is also a PSR for a new clerk typist 3. How will they be funded? By getting rid of my position? How does that make any sense? The elimination of my position will not impact the budget that much when you take into consideration that Secretary 3 position was added after the initial budget. I enjoy working with numbers. That is why I'm an account clerk. We have already collected $87,000 this year. An estimated $17,000 will be collected during the next 3 months. Who will handle this job? Our department handles over $100,000 in cash a year. So with the most recent developments concerning the handling of funds and nutrition services, the last thing the district needs is another red flag with our department that handles at least $100,000 in cash without an account clerk.
Thank you.
Next, Cheryl Decker.
Good evening, Board. Good evening. Superintendent, Cabinet, and staff and community. I'm Cheryl Decker, President of Rialto, Classified Employees Association, Chapter 203. The classified list in the agenda, eliminating classified positions, seems very random to me. It seems to be not fairly done, honestly. The district has taken this list, and I know given it to the administrators and asked them for their recommendations. I don't feel it's always a lack of work or a lack of funding reason for getting rid of these positions. Not filling empty positions makes more sense than anything. We all know that there have been tough times. So if a position's been emptied and we've been carrying on, then eliminating it makes sense. Eliminating positions when they're very relevant and very necessary does not make sense to me. Couldn't they be funded under general, like you did with the last agenda when you approved to move a lot of QEIA funds over to general funding? Couldn't these few positions, I believe 7, be funded under QEIA instead of eliminated when the kids need this? Most of these positions, I think, are at Eisenhower High School. Our kids need the attention that they're getting. QEIA came in and ensured that they got that attention. They were getting it before. You eliminate these positions, they're not going to get it in the future. That doesn't make sense to me. Please don't pass this thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Is it, all right. Thank you for all of your comments. Now we will move to comments from our association, REA. Is there anyone here?
Yes, I filled out 2 slips.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, but they're part, you're going to speak on behalf of association, correct?
I filled out a form for a non-agenda item.
Yeah.
There was 2.
Yeah, you did 2 form
Yes.
as item not on agenda,
Yes.
so.
He thought he needed to fill out a separate form each time he wanted to speak, I think.
You're allowed 3 minutes.
Okay, well, can I get another 3 minutes then?
All right.
Thank you. Well,
Is it a different topic?
no, I think you know what's coming. Notice of intention to circulate recall petition. The grounds for the proposed recall are as follows. We, the undersigned, do hereby affirm that Joseph Ayala has improperly performed the duties as a board member of the Board of Education for the Rialto Unified School District. Mr. Ayala has, under the direction of the superintendent, approved numerous and unnecessary contracts, some of which were for duplicate services, leading to the depletion of nearly $30 million of Rialto Unified School District's reserve funds. Mr. Ayala has failed in his responsibilities to oversee the actions of the superintendent and superintendent's office, leading to gross misappropriation of funds, as unveiled in a January 2014 meeting of the Board of Education. Mr. Ayala has failed in his responsibilities to support the educational programs for the Rialto Unified School District, resulting in student development flatlining for 5 years, as unveiled in a report at a May 2013 meeting of the Board of Education, and the decline of the special education program, including over $1 million of unnecessary expenses, as unveiled in a report at a January 2014 meeting of the Board of Education. A recall election is therefore requested by the undersigned, each of whom is a registered voter of the Rialto Unified School District at the time of signing.
Okay. Now, does that conclude?
That's all.
All right. Now, going back to, is there a representative from REA who would like to speak? No one? All right. We'll move down to item D, public hearing.
Oh, there's the
Oh,
other.
CSEA. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. It was all in one line. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to overlook you. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Good evening, board members.
Yes.
Mr. Islam, administration, and viewing audience. I am Linda Silva, and I'm the Public Relations Officer for CSEA, Chapter 203. The classified employees of our district are dedicated, hardworking employees that usually go unnoticed. We are especially proud this year as we have had several of them receive well-deserved awards from the administration of the district, as well as you, the board. Mr. Daniel Harris recently got a humanitarian award for saving a student's life. And you awarded 6 other classified and school employees with the Classified Employees of the Year award. And we even had one classified member that was awarded the key to the district. We have classified employees in the school offices, health offices, libraries, and even classrooms of every school site who get the added joy of helping children on a daily basis. We have classified employees who work at sites that don't interact with students but assist the administration in this district, working in various positions of education, of the education process, and find it just as fulfilling. We have classified service staff who every day transport students to and from school, prepare meals, and serve breakfast and lunch to our students, And we also have landscapers who keep the grounds safe and attractive, custodians who clean the bathrooms, lunchrooms, and classrooms of our students. We have specialized staff that secure the campuses, man the control center, and patrol our district, along with employees that keep our computers running. There are classified employees that help organize science fairs, music fairs, and testing. There are classified employees who work in the fiscal department, purchasing department, warehouse facilities, and print shop. Our classified mail department, they gather mail, deliver, pick up, and send every day many bags. We have classified staff that maintain buses and district vehicles by keeping them running smooth and safe. And we have electricians, plumbers, painters, locksmiths, gardeners, carpenters, AC refrigeration techniques, and jacks of all trades. There is no task in this district that could possibly need done that the classified can't assist with. This year we are especially proud because one of our classified employees is being honored at the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools Board meeting on April 7th at 4 p.m. Rialto Unified School District is one of 16 school districts that were competed, and our very own classified employee, Mark Rambos, had been chosen as the Classified Employee of the Year in the M&O division. We would like to personally invite all of the board members, his site principal, and the administration of this district, as well as you, Mr. Islam, the superintendent and interim superintendent, and anyone else that wants to go to celebrate this award with him. We have one final item, and that is the CSEA holds two fundraisers every year. These fundraisers are that affords us the right to give scholarships to our chapter's members. This last year, we gave two $500 scholarships to children of our members. In order that we can continue to award these scholarships, we would like to ask that you support our Seas Candy fundraiser, and it ends on the 9th of this month. I have order forms if you're interested, and your candy will be delivered before the 11th of April.
Would you
Thank you.
please give us the date of the Mr. Rambos of
It's April the 7th
April 7th?
at 4 p.m. at the County Superintendent's Board meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
CWA, is there a representative from CWA? Are you the representative? Yes. Would you please step forward if you have something to say?
Is it regarding the public notice on page D2.1?
We're going there next. Public hearing.
Yes, are you?
CWA.
Yes, but,
It's item 2, D2, for the open public hearing.
yeah, okay. You want to, okay, let's open public hearing, just stay there. Let's open public hearing. Any person wishing to speak on an item on the public hearing agenda will be granted 3 minutes to make a presentation. Now, since you're here, pursuant to the requirements, this is number 2. Is that where you making reference to?
Yes.
All right, we'll take you now. Go ahead.
Okay, in reference to D2.1, we are looking forward to a reopener, that is CWA, for the same school year that we're in, 2014, no, not the same year, but next school year, 2014-15.
Okay, so you are hereby posting your compliance to the legislative requirements. Am I correct?
That we look forward to coming to the table with the Rialto Unified School District to negotiate for the 2014-15 school year.
Okay. Thank
Is that
you.
clear?
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
all
Thank
right.
you very much. All right.
Could you please state your name, please, for record?
Monique Jennings.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public hearing number 1. Is there anyone from REA who would like to speak? All right, I'll read it. Pursuant to the requirements of government code and board policy, the initial contract proposal submitted by the Rialto Education Association, REA, for an agreement between REA, Rialto Unified School District, and the Board of Education is hereby posted in compliance with the legislative requirements of public notice. And that's reference D 1.1-11. Any other comments? We will close public hearing. Now we'll move down to consent calendar items. All items on the consent calendar will be acted upon in one motion unless pulled by Board of Education members or the interim superintendent for individual action. May I get a motion to approve consent items E through J?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. O'Kelly.
Second.
Mr. Montez, thank you. Any pulls? Any questions? We don't have our student board members, so could I get a vote by board members to accept consent items E through J? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Then we'll move to discussion action items. Each item will be enacted in one motion unless members of the Board of Education request specific items to be discussed. Motion to approve action items K1 through K3. May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Could I get a second?
Second, but I have a poll.
Okay, yes, let's get the second. Mr. Montez. Now, your pull.
Item 2,
Item 2,
K2.
K2. You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
All right.
I just, well, can we vote on it separately?
Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so can I get we're ready to, any other pulls? We're going to vote on 1 and 3. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any no opposition, motion is carried. Now going back to item 2. Mr. Montez.
Yeah, I was looking over the list, and I just want to make sure, for clarification, it's 6 positions, or is it 7 positions that are currently filled and 8 that are vacant? Am I correct? Mr.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
we have a.
Mr. Rob?
10 vacant. 10 vacant.
10 vacant positions?
Yeah, 7 of them filled.
My question would be, what would be the outcome for us to vote on eliminating the vacant positions and holding off until the next meeting so we can gather some more information regarding the district finances to make a decision on the filled positions?
My recommendation will be, Mr. Montez, pull entire resolutions instead of pulling the positions, part of the resolutions, and bring back to you with the further analyzing, reviewing the consequence of keeping the positions or elimination of positions. If that's board like to give that directions, and that's my recommendation.
Is this a time-sensitive issue?
We believe we have time.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We still have 2 board meetings to take action before April 29th.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, and me as a board member, really would like a clearer picture where we stand financially. You know, as of course, we know it can affect not just individual employees, but when we have to lay off employees, you know, it could affect their families, you know. So I just think we should put this in a not more closer perspective and really get a really good understanding of exactly where we're at. I know we've had some recent reports, but perhaps we can hold a workshop or maybe get a more detailed report on as far as where we stand and, you know, before we move to terminating any positions.
Yeah, I agree. That's my recommendation. We have time. You don't have to act tonight. So we like to bring a report and analyze further all these positions, including vacancy, consequence of elimination of those positions. Particularly, you're referring to people in the position.
Right.
I hear your concern, and I agree with you. We need to come back to you with a further. So if you pull tonight, I appreciate that's the direction we'll go.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to pull item
K2.
K2.
I had another question. Why are we having so many vacancies for MH and ED instructional assistants?
Felix, can you respond?
Right. Well, sometimes the students leave or there's changes in the program and they're not needed at that particular site because the classroom may move to a different site, or the students may leave. So therefore, some of those positions are vacant. We have other positions that we're constantly filling, and so these particular ones, they're vacant because they're no longer needed according to for the program. We're serving the needs of the students that we have, but these particular ones are not needed in
Were
the
they
classrooms at the-
one-to-one aides?
Yes.
So
Some
they
of them-
weren't in the classroom, I mean, they weren't,
No, they're instructional assistant 3, MH, SED.
okay, but the ones that are vacant were all one-to-one and the students have moved on somewhere?
Yes, they could be one-to-one, or they're not needed at that particular classroom because the program has moved.
Okay.
Any other questions? Mr. Montes made a motion. We need a second to pull item K.2.
You've got a second.
All right, it's moved and second that we will pull item K number 2. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. So this resolution will be brought back at another date. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Now we will move to, this is a short agenda. I can't believe it. We're almost over. Comments from Mr. Islam, our interim superintendent.
Thank you, Ms. Gilbert. I hope everybody enjoyed the spring break and everything going well under your leadership. And I personally, I thank you, board, leading us during this difficult time and making these difficult decisions. But again, one thing comes in my mind, we're serving students. That's what we're here for. And I continue to say this over again, and that's our focus. And with your leadership, I think we'll make this district as a model district, and I have a faith and confidence myself. And the people I work with them, I know they're around me, with me, and I'm not driving alone. I know they will get there. So I thank you that I'm blessed that I serve you as a board and I work for you as a board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Islam. And now I'll start on my left this time around, and I'll start with Mr. Martinez. Comments from
President
board
Gilbert.
members.
Well, I'm just glad to see the representation here tonight. I'm always glad to see CSEA Blue, and I'm glad we are working through these items. And it hasn't been mentioned, but any changes in workload must be negotiated. So please take that under advisement as well. It's interesting that you try and do the best for children and for Rialto and for staff. In particular order, it's children, staff, community. And I and the rest of the board serve at the pleasure of the people. So, the only thing I suggest on the recall petition, if it's going to go through to be put on a ballot, save some money. Put it on November. Otherwise, last I heard it was about $70,000. So that, one way or another, it's up to the people. And I'm good with what the people, elected me to do. But if there's a small contingent that wants to go this route, that's okay.
Mr. Ayala.
Boy, I was going to talk about other things, but it's hard to not bring this to the forefront when somebody gives me a notice to recall. I had heard some rumors, and sorry that we've disappointed some people, and that was not our intention. Our intention was to be fair and provide a service that our community would appreciate and find useful. I definitely don't want to see this go down to where the district has to pay $100,000 for an election. You just come up to me and we'll talk about it. We can save the district $100,000. But you got to be honest with me, because we don't want to spend any more money. If you want somebody to run for the office, I'm still going to be your neighbor. I'm still going to shop in the same stores. I'm not leaving. I love Rialto, and I have the utmost respect for everybody in this room. So, if we need to talk about it, we can do that. But I want to thank you again for the opportunity that you've given me, and I'll continue to do best I can till that day comes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ayala. Now we will go to Mrs. O'Kelly.
Well, thank you all for coming tonight, and I really hope all the district staff, it's so quiet tonight, it's funny because everybody's on spring break, but I hope everybody has enjoyed their spring break and enjoys the last few days that they have. I am so excited about moving forward in the district and working hard. My whole goal is to ensure that we provide all of our students with the best educational opportunities possible. They do deserve the very best. They need to be competitive with students from other districts, and that will not happen without a high-quality education. And that's what we need to be working towards. New beginnings foster new attitudes. I heard the phrase earlier, I believe, a new direction. And, I just want to remind everybody that the Board of Education represents the entire Rialto Unified School District community. And that means the parents, the students, the community members, and the district employees. We represent all of you. And in the past, district employees have been, well, how should I put it, strongly discouraged from ever directly talking to a board member. That is no longer the case. No employee should ever fear talking directly to a board member, because sometimes that's the person you need to talk to. So I just want to make that clear, and I want to tell you that if you have concerns that you would like to discuss with me, please feel free to contact me. I will help you in any way that I possibly can, but don't be afraid. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. O'Kelly. Mr. Montes.
Good evening. Buenas noches. I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We're it seems like we're slowing down a little bit, not just because we're on spring break, but we still got a lot of work to do here as a board, and we're working on it. We still got some issues we need to resolve, and we're working on that. As you guys can tell, we came out of closed session a little later than what we wanted to, but we've got some very important things that we still need to deal with, and we're trying our best, all of us. And Mr. Islam is also trying his best together with the board. so we can resolve a lot of the issues that need to be resolved. But I do see, again, I continue to say, I do see a lot of good, I see a rainbow at the end here of our district. I do see better days ahead.
With a leprechaun and a pot of gold.
But I want to thank all the members of the community, all the staff members that come and join us here at these meetings. I know some of them have been really tough, not just for board members. If it's hard to endure as a board member, sometimes I can only imagine what it's like as a staff member of the community. So I just want to thank you again. I truly appreciate your guys' presence and your continued support for this district to move forward really and fight for those brighter days. And last but not least, I want to also just piggyback off what Mrs. O'Kelly said, and I've said this many times before. Many of us here do believe in an open door policy, and it'd be something that we should definitely adhere to now with new leadership. What sort of in a fresh start, and I want to thank Mr. Islam for helping this district with our new beginnings, and make sure that that our community and our staff understand that we want to be transparent, and we want employees to feel like they can reach out to board members if they have to. That's what we're elected for, and when communication is lost between board members and those that are elected to represent the people, obviously people get upset. Obviously people get upset. So I just want to support Mrs. O'Kelly in supporting an open door policy here for our governing board, and I hope that the rest of our colleagues can share the same sentiments. And Mr. Islam, please do all that you can to make sure that all of the staff, know that we're here for all of you guys. So thank you again, and thank you, Ms. Gilbert.
Thank you, Mr. Montez. And I echo the same sentiments. I've always had an open door policy, and I've had many calls. So I guess if you've been on the board a long time, you're going to get many calls. But anyway, I want to leave on a high note. If you got the Rialto record for March 20th, Rialto Unified School District made front page all the way down. So I just wanted to say thank you, Rialto Record. They had an article on Mr. Islam, and also for the career day, college career day at Frisbee. And I want to say that, talking about moving in the right direction, Frisbee had a wonderful career day. Over 60 representatives from all walks of life were there to talk to our middle school students, and I was mostly impressed with some of the high school students who came back to Frisbee to talk to those middle school students, to just give them a boost and motivating them to move on. Because sometimes, maybe you don't know, but we stopped saying that you graduate from middle school because some people think that's the end. So we use the word 8th grade promotion because we want those students to know that it's not over. They have to continue on. And when I went to the Frisbee Career Day, Mr. Martinez was there. Were you there, Ms. O'Kelly?
I was unable to make that.
That's
event.
right. But anyway, and our student board member was there. And we had the Navy ROTC from Rialto High School, and the ROTC from Eisenhower students who were there to motivate the middle school students. So I was really impressed. And that is something that we have not had in the district for a while, and I hope that that will continue because that was a wonderful day. Mr. Brown was there from the county county schools, school board member. He was there. So they had, like I said, a vast amount of people from all careers in life, and that was wonderful for our Frisbee students. And I would just like to suggest that the middle schools is where it starts. We need to make sure that our middle schools do this every year so that our students can become motivated. But again, I want to thank the Rialto Record. I want to welcome back Rosie. We forgot to say thank you for Rosie's welcome back. For those of you who may not know, she was out on sick leave, and so we welcome her back. She's our board secretary, so welcome back, Rosie. And and one more thing, April is coming, the Ritz is coming. That's another highlight of our district, so we want you to remember April 26th. If you haven't bought your tickets, make sure you buy your tickets. And our district employees who make those wonderful gift baskets, are we doing that this year, Saida? All right, get your baskets together for our auction. And so we will have a wonderful event. I think you want to say something, Mr.
Yeah,
Martin.
welcome back, Rosie. And for clarification, she's the board secretary.
Did I say board secretary?
No, yeah, but
Yeah,
but
that's what I
I believe
thought I
at a
said.
previous meeting, there was some.
Oh, a long time ago. I know
Yeah,
what you're
there
talking
were regarding, is she the superintendent secretary?
Oh,
Is she the
no,
board
she's
secretary?
our secretary.
Yes.
The board
Yes,
secretary.
thank you.
But anyway, we're glad
Welcome,
that you're
welcome back.
Okay, are there any more comments, announcements, or anything?
I'd just like to add to what you said about the college and career fair. We used to have outstanding high school college and career fairs. I do not know what has happened to them, but that is a high priority that we need to make sure our career technical people at the high schools are planning every year.
Yes, so we will move forward with that so that next year we will make sure that's on our agenda for
Yes.
the next school year.
We'll
All right.
follow this direction. Thank you.
Yes. And now we're ready to adjourn, but before we adjourn,
This is a record since I've been on the
I
board.
know. I'm sorry that we have to adjourn this meeting with a sad note. Mrs. Debbie A. Garcia, one of our family members, who was an instructional aide at Bemis Elementary School, passed away just recently, Thursday, March 20th, at the age of 50.
Oh, wow.
She was hired as a substitute noon duty aide in 1998. She ended her career as a instructional aide at Bemis Elementary. She is survived by two daughters, one who's a fifth grade student at Bemis, and we will have more information about services when it's available. So Saida will make sure that it's on the district website, or you can call her office for further information. So in the meantime, let's have a moment of silence for Mrs. Garcia and the Garcia family. Thank you. Now, Mr. Montez, it's on you.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we adjourn at 8:12. Have
We
a
all
good
supposed
evening,
to say
everyone. All in favor?
Aye.